men who worked for Adrian Carter had a saying, "The dawn doesn't flinch." They'd seen him sit across from men who'd betrayed him and order their deaths without so much as a change in his breathing. They'd seen him walk into rooms where 3 different families wanted him dead and walk out having made all 3 of them apologize. Vincent Russo, his second-in-command for 11 years, had personally watched Adrian break a man's fingers one by one while discussing dinner reservations. So when Adrian Carter dropped his phone for the 3rd time in an hour, Vincent noticed.
"You're doing it again,"
Vincent said, not looking up from the ledger in front of him.
"Doing what?"
"That thing where you stare at your phone like it personally wronged you."
Vincent finally glanced up, and the corner of his mouth twitched.
"Let me guess. Emma texted."
Adrian's jaw tightened.
"I don't know what you're talking about."
"Boss, with respect, I've watched you negotiate with men who had guns pointed at your head without your pulse changing. Right now you look like you're about to throw up."
Vincent set down his pen, leaning back, clearly enjoying himself far too much.
"It's kind of beautiful, honestly. Tragic, but beautiful."
"Get out of my office."
"It's my office too."
"Then I'll get out."
Adrian didn't move. Vincent smiled wider.
"You're going to tell her,"
Vincent said. It wasn't a question. Adrian's hand curled around the phone until his knuckles went pale. On the screen was a single message, sent an hour ago, still unanswered because he couldn't figure out how to respond to something as simple as, "Hey, are we still on for Friday?"
15 years,
Vincent said quietly, and for once the teasing dropped out of his voice.
15 years you've loved this woman. You've turned down marriages that would have tripled our territory. You had Marco tail her home from the hospital every night for 2 years and told her it was just the neighborhood being safer lately. You are, without question, the most dangerous man in this city, and you are undone by a 5'4" pediatric nurse who still doesn't know you had her stalker's car impounded on 3 separate fake charges.
He deserved worse.
That's not the point, and you know it.
Vincent stood, straightening his jacket.
The point is, you've spent your whole life being feared, Adrian. And you're more terrified of that woman finding out you love her than you've ever been of a bullet.
Adrian said nothing. There was nothing to say, because it was true. And the truth of it sat in his chest like a stone that had been there since he was 11 years old, and Emma Hayes handed him half her sandwich on the playground because he'd come to school with a black eye and no lunch, and never once asked why. He bought the necklace on a Tuesday and returned it on a Thursday. Too much, he told himself, holding the small velvet box like it might detonate. Emma didn't wear expensive things. She'd laugh. That soft, easy laugh that undid him more than any threat ever could. And she'd say, "Adrian, this is absurd." And he wouldn't survive it. He bought a bracelet instead. Simple, silver, delicate. He got as far as the parking lot before he threw it in the glove compartment and didn't look at it again.
Just tell her you love her,
Vincent said, for what felt like the 40th time, watching Adrian pace the length of the penthouse like a man awaiting execution.
It's 4 words. You've said longer sentences ordering coffee.
It's not that simple.
It's exactly that simple. That's what's making you insane. There's no negotiation, no leverage, no angle, just you standing there telling the truth.
Vincent poured himself a drink, unbothered.
Which, I imagine, for a man who spent his entire adult life lying for a living, is terrifying.
Adrian stopped pacing.
If I tell her and she doesn't...
He couldn't even finish it.
And if you don't tell her,
Vincent said, gentler now,
you're going to watch her marry someone else in a few years, and you're going to stand in the back of that church wanting to burn it down. And I am going to have to physically restrain you. I'd rather not. My back isn't what it used to be.
Adrian almost smiled. Almost.
Rain's supposed to come in Friday night.
Vincent added, glancing at his phone.
Might want to move your little rooftop dinner plan indoors.
No.
Adrian said slowly, something in him settling for the first time in days.
No. Leave it outside.
Vincent raised an eyebrow.
Romantic or reckless?
With Emma,
Adrian said.
is there a difference?
Friday came, and with it, the kind of nervous energy Adrian hadn't felt since he was 17, and Emma had asked him to dance at her cousin's wedding, and he'd said yes so fast he'd embarrassed himself. She showed up at the restaurant's private rooftop in a green dress that made him forget, briefly, every plan he'd rehearsed for a week.
You look terrified,
Emma said, sliding into the seat across from him, eyes bright with amusement.
Should I be worried? Is this the part where you tell me you're actually in witness protection?
You have no idea,
Adrian muttered.
Try me. I've known you since you were a scrawny 10-year-old who cried during The Lion King and told everyone he had allergies.
That information was supposed to die with us both.
I have a very good memory, Adrian Carter.
She leaned forward, chin on her hand, that familiar teasing warmth in her eyes that had been undoing him for 2 decades.
So, what's the occasion? You don't do candlelit rooftops for no reason. Should I be flattered or should I be checking for exits?
Maybe a little of both, he admitted, and something about the honesty in his own voice startled him. Emma tilted her head, studying him the way she always did, like she could see straight past the reputation, past the tailored suit and the careful stillness, down to the boy who used to save her a seat at lunch.
You're doing the thing.
She said softly.
What thing?
The thing where you go quiet and intense, and I can't tell if you're about to confess a crime or a feeling.
Can it be both?
Her breath caught, just slightly. Just enough that he saw it.
Adrian.
I've been trying to say this for a week,
he said, and his voice, the same voice that had ordered men's deaths without a tremor, shook.
I had a whole speech. Vincent made me practice it 4 times. I've forgotten every word of it.
That's very unlike you.
Emma whispered.
You don't forget things. You don't lose control of a room.
I lose control of everything when it comes to you.
He reached across the table, not quite touching her hand, close enough that the air between them felt charged.
I have since we were kids. You were the only person who never looked at me like I was already a monster. Everyone else saw my father's name and flinched. You handed me half your sandwich.
It was a good sandwich,
she said, but her voice wobbled and her eyes were shining.
Emma.
Her name in his mouth sounded like a confession all on its own.
I've turned down every woman my family's tried to put in front of me for 10 years. Every single one. Do you know why?
She shook her head slowly, though something in her face said she already knew. Said she'd hoped. Said she'd been waiting just as long as he had.
Because none of them were you, he said. Because I've been in love with you since we were children, and I have spent every year since trying to convince myself that someone like me doesn't get to have someone like you. That loving you from a distance was the safest thing I could do for you. So I protected you instead, quietly, from the shadows. Told myself that was enough.
The car.
Emma breathed.
Adrian, was that you? The guy who used to follow me, he just disappeared.
I couldn't let anything happen to you.
His voice cracked on it.
I have controlled everything in my life except this. Except you. I am terrified of you, Emma Hayes, in a way that no rival, no enemy, no gun has ever managed. Because you are the only person on earth who could actually destroy me. Not with a knife, just by walking away.
The first drop of rain hit the table between them, Emma didn't move.
Say it.
She whispered.
The actual words, please.
Thunder rolled somewhere over the city. The rain came harder, fast and warm, soaking through his shirt, through her dress, and neither of them so much as glanced at the shelter 20 feet away. I love you, Adrian said, like a man laying down every weapon he owned. I have loved you for 15 years. I will love you until the day I die, and probably after that too, because I don't think death could actually stop it. I am hopelessly, helplessly in love with you, Emma, and I am done pretending otherwise. She was standing before she'd decided to stand, rain plastering her hair to her face, mascara running, laughing and crying at the same time in that way that only Emma could make beautiful. You absolute idiot, she said, closing the distance between them, fisting her hands in his soaked shirt. 15 years. 15 years, Adrian. I have been waiting for you to catch up. You... His hands found her waist like he'd been starving for the right to touch her. You knew? I have loved you since we were children too, you impossible man. I just thought... Her voice broke. I thought you'd never let yourself have it. I'm letting myself have it now, he said, and the rain ran down both their faces as he cupped her jaw like she was something sacred. If you'll let me. Adrian Carter, Emma whispered, her mouth an inch from his. Kiss me before I combust. He pressed her against the wall, mouth crashing into hers in a desperate kiss. Tongues slid hot and urgent, teeth nipping, her fingers tangling in his wet hair. Fuck, Emma, he breathed against her lips. She kissed back harder, hips rolling, nipples tight against his chest through thin layers, the rain making everything slick and electric. He pulled her into his arms, lifting her up so her legs wrapped around his waist. Her surprised gasp turned into a moan as he carried her toward the open doors leading to the suite he'd reserved for the two of them. Their clothes came off in a frantic rush. Adrian Carter's hands mapped every curve, cupping her breasts, thumbs circling her nipples until she arched and swore. He dropped to his knees, tongue flicking over her pussy, tasting rain and her arousal, fingers spreading her open for long, slow licks that had her thighs shaking. Adrian, don't stop, she gasped, grinding on his face, one hand fisting his hair while the other braced on the wall. He sucked her clit, two fingers thrusting deep, curling to hit that spot that made her drip down his wrist. She came once already, thighs clamping his head, juices coating his tongue. But he kept going, adding a third finger, stretching her while his free hand stroked his own throbbing dick. You feel so fucking good, he growled. They moved to the center, bodies sliding together skin to skin. The peak crashed over them in a blur of sweat, rain still pattering outside. They collapsed tangled, breathing hard, laughing when he muttered something about finally ditching the untouchable act. Took you long enough, Mafia man, she teased, kissing his jaw. Adrian huffed a laugh into her hair.
I already have Vincent planning the wedding as we speak.
Emma went still, propped herself up on an elbow, eyes wide.
The what?
Nothing,
Adrian said, entirely too innocently, pulling her back down against him.
Go to sleep, Mrs. Hayes, not yet Carter.
Adrian.
15 years.
He reminded her softly, pressing a kiss to her temple.
I'm not exactly known for moving slow once I've made a decision.
Outside, the rain kept falling, and for the first time in his life, Adrian Carter wasn't afraid of a single thing.